Terry here in a second. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Sunshine with Outdoor Chattanooga. We are a unique division within the city of Chattanooga. Our role is to promote all things outside, all things outdoors. And this is our virtual workshop series that we kind of dreamt up in the middle of a pandemic in order to figure out how we could still connect with our community, engage with our community, and teach outdoor skills that we would normally be doing in a classroom-based setting at our building. Unbeknownst to us, we have been able to broaden our reach and reach people in zip codes well beyond the Chattanooga area, which is so awesome. Um, Tonight, we're going to go over Camp Cooking 101. That's going to cover a variety of topics from the different methods that are available, car camping, mostly a little bit of backpack camping, or backcountry cooking. And from there, I'm going to let Terry do that. She's the expert. I'm not. I'm just the moderator this evening. Um, for you guys, you don't need audio, you don't need video. You just need to know how to find the chat function and the Q&A. I am going to put that link in. If anyone's having trouble with the link itself, please let me know. The sign-in sheet is for us to track who we're serving, who is here tonight, where you guys are joining us from. You can request to get an Outdoor Chattanooga sticker. It's our way of saying thank you for attending tonight, being with us. And then you'll also be in the running for the gift card that our friends at Lodge Cast Iron Skillet donated for us to give away this evening. I am going to stop talking. I'm going to let Terry take it over from here, let her introduce herself, and I will continue to moderate the chat and help you guys out if you're having any issues tonight. 99 folks are on the call with us, Terry, so let's teach them something new.
Great. Thank you, 99 people, for being here. I really appreciate it. My name is Terry, and I really find it kind that I am being called the Master Chef, because I really think that title really is just something in my own mind that I think that I am. I do have years of experience cooking in the outdoors. I have 3 kiddos that I take camping all the time. And I'm always, trying to create an activity as cooking for them. Or I've got lots of experience taking small groups into the woods on paddling trips or whatnot. And I find that cooking is a lot of fun. And it doesn't have to be factory food or pour in boiling water. It can be more gourmet and healthy in the outdoors. And so I'm really excited to share my knowledge with you and kind of give you some good camp skills and cooking tips for the great outdoors. The real secret, though, I think food just tastes better outside. So just keep that in mind. So my presentation tonight covers essential information about cooking at camp, and most of the information, really comes from that experience with serving small groups. And I really encourage what you learn tonight to practice at home in your backyard before maybe you go out on an expedition or whatnot, just to kind of hone in on what equipment and what preparation might be necessary. We'll get into that. And again, as Sunshine had mentioned, feel free to add any questions you have in the chat at any time. We're going to stop periodically throughout to answer your questions and kind of have it a Q&A and a live interaction here. So anyway, let's get started. So, Julia Child, she's a master chef herself, and she quotes that the comforts of life's essentials is food, fire, and friendships. Here's a photo of actually my family and their friends we're out at a campground. We're cooking up all kinds of stuff right there, making a mess. We're going to go over camp cooking methods. We're going to talk about equipment, recommendations and uses, We're going to talk about meal planning considerations. We're going to talk about leave no trace cooking and the principles of that, and of course, critter considerations while you're out in the woods. First, let's take a survey. Kind of would like to know where everybody is coming into this class.
All right, you guys should see that survey pop up. Let us know, yeah, where you're at. If you have any experience cooking outdoors, or you never have I ever, you leave it to somebody else to do. If you're a pro, maybe you might learn something new tonight. Just kind of helps us know who we're talking to. Looks like we got about 75% of people have voted. This is also a way to make sure you guys aren't sleeping through our webinar tonight. All right, we got about 80. I'm gonna give y'all 10 more seconds. Does grilling outdoors count? That's a good question, Lynn. We'll get to that later. It is outside, so maybe it does. All right, 83% have voted. I'm gonna end this and show the results. Terry, where do you think everyone's at?
In the middle. There we go.
Yeah.
Need to practice. Hey, I agree. No worries. Every time I am camping, I usually pick up a new tidbit or skill from watching others. And so here's a great, exciting opportunity to share that information with you from everything that I've learned. And if you have any information to share back, again, use that chat room. I'd love to hear. All right, technology. There we go. All right, so some basics. I call these the campground classics. They're the 2-burner propane stove. It's an oldie but a goodie. They're durable, they're reliable, and they're really great for folks who need a stove for campground use, and especially if you need to feed a lot of people. They're great for car camping, like camping right out of your car. They're also wonderful because they can be found just about anywhere. You can even pick one up at a thrift shop, if you will. They cost about $50 to $80 maybe new. The fuel canisters are standardized, and you can find those just about anywhere. You can find them at your campground store. You can find them at Walmart. A lot of gas stations will even carry those canisters, so it's very accessible. You can get hoses to attach, like this one down here. You can see the large propane can be attached if you're going for multiple days and you're using lots and lots and lots of fuel. Some of them even have trees you can attach the lantern to. These are just the classic stove. They're great for uses in areas that don't allow a campfire, and it's pretty much quick and easy. It's, in my opinion, you're taking your home, 2-burner or whatever your stove eyes, you're taking those outside. Whatever you're going to cook on a stove eye at home, you can do outdoors on this type of 2-burner stove, propane stove. Then you also have backpacking style stoves, also known as canister. They're a single burner. There's a couple different styles here. They're very popular. They're lightweight. They're very easy to carry, especially on more simplified trips. There's no liquid fuel to slosh around or spill into a backpack. They're pre-filled canisters. Typically, butane is the component for the fuel, and they're relatively inexpensive. They're very quick to boil water and cook food. Here, this one on the left, the jet boil, it actually attaches the canister, the cooking mug here attaches to the stove for very quick and easy use. pretty neat. You can get specialty coffee pots and all kinds of stuff. But some of the cons for these is the butane does not operate at extremely low temperatures. So should you be trying to go mountaineering or whatnot, you may want to choose this style of backpacking stove, the MSR here on the right. This does offer the ability to use a liquid fuel. In some of the international models, you can use actually gasoline, you can use kerosene. So it makes it a great world traveler should you want to be doing that. They are small. I have problems with some of these. Sometimes they can leak some of that liquid fuel and become a small little bomb. But they are a tried and true option.
Yeah, these are great for the ultralight kind of backpackers. I personally love a jet boil, but when you have access to more, you definitely want to use more.
Yeah, you just kind of have to adapt to one burner and whatever you're going to cook using one burner versus the Coleman 2-burner stove. Another option for cooking in the outdoors is the Dutch oven. This is probably my favorite. You use this over an open fire. You can use coal briquettes. It's very elegant and very easy. It's been around since the 17th century. It's pretty tried and true. Lodge is actually one of our local manufacturers of cast iron cookware, and they're in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. They have a foundry there. And they've been in business since, I believe, 1890-ish. So they've been around a little while. And tonight, someone will be lucky enough to win a gift certificate from Lodge Cookware. So this is exciting. I've purchased a few Lodge cast iron pieces new and absolutely love them. I've also received several pieces handed down in the family, and those have been fabulous. And I've also found some at the flea market where they're in great shape, or some of them need a little bit of restoration, and it's really simple and no problem. There's lots of videos online on how to do that. But yeah, these are great pieces to pick up. Here's some more photos. I can use it at home. I can use it in the outdoors. I just love my Dutch oven. Can you tell? They're great for cooking for large groups. This picture at the bottom, look at all this. They're all stacked together cooking. I don't know how many people they're feeding there. It must be 50. So you can cook all kinds of things in a Dutch oven, casseroles to stews. You can bake pizza. You can bake bread. A lot of turnover desserts are really fun to make into a Dutch oven. There's a bazillion recipes out there. And again, I'm not shamelessly plugging Lodge. I actually really do enjoy them. I have a Lodge Dutch oven cookbook that has a bazillion recipes in here. I've flagged several. I use this all the time. Lots of fun. And here in a moment, I'm going to show you how to make a very easy chicken pot pie recipe using the Dutch oven. We're going to share that recipe with you. And in fact, the recipe shared is going to be adapted to a few other methods so that you can use the same ingredients and actually transfer it over to various methods to be practicing there at home or at camp. So here we go.
And Terry, I'm going to say a lot of people have mentioned in the Dutch oven that they're very excited to learn how to use it. So
great, good. Yeah, it is my favorite. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, well, check this video out, and I'm going to show you how to, hopefully it's starting at the beginning here. Hopefully.
made me want to dance. I hope that made other people want to dance.
There we go. All right, so that is a kind of quick video on how to put together a Dutch oven meal. You know, something I just realized that I didn't have to do, but I did. I did a lot of, obviously I did a lot of cutting and preparation in my own kitchen, but then I did use my stove to kind of heat up. I cooked the chicken on my stove. I heated up the carrots and the potatoes on the stove. I didn't have to do that. I could have completely done that in an open Dutch oven. I could have cooked the chicken, then I could have added a few ingredients at a time as it sat on the coals, and then put everything and mixed it in while it's sitting on the coals, put the lid on, and then put coals on top. I could have done all that outdoors. I think I probably didn't for the video because it was pretty cold outside, and you know, it's really, you know, I was in the comfort of my own backyard here in kitchen, and so I used it. But looking at the video, I could have done that a little differently. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily do everything in your kitchen like that. I do recommend though, pre-cutting and pre-chopping your vegetables and whatever, put them in maybe a baggie and then bring it to camp to assemble at camp. That way you're not trying to do so much from the camp table or riverside or wherever you are, especially dealing with raw chicken. Okay, so on your screen right now, you're probably looking at the coal temperature conversion chart. It's down to a science. So say you have a 10-inch diameter Dutch oven and you want to cook at 350, you only need about 21 briquettes. I use the whole bag. I guess that's just my personality. I'm just throw it all in there. I did extra briquettes because I wanted to finish with a campfire. So I'd scooted a lot of them over. And when you're baking bread or doing something more that requires more finesse, it's probably very important to pay attention to the number of briquettes. But essentially, everything was pre-cooked for my chicken pot pie. I was really just trying to heat it and blend those flavors. So I wasn't being as particular. Just a little FYI there. Okay. All right. So the next really fun way to do some camp cooking is using the foil packets. Some folks have called them hobo meals. But basically you're using tin foil and putting together ingredients and cooking them in the foil over your open fire or wood coals. So easy. And it's probably one of the best ways for some camp cooking if you don't want to carry a lot of this heavy equipment with you. And it's probably the cheapest way. And with that money you save, being cheap on not buying lots of equipment, please spend the money on very high quality, heavy duty foil. It has got to be the heavy duty tin foil, or you will have lots of problems later. So utilizing this process, you again want to chop your meats and veggies into small bite-sized pieces. If they're too small, things can tend to get mushy. And if they're too large, then it takes too long to cook, or they don't cook at the same time or same rate. Yeah. And then you want to take, oh, and the one exception there is if you are trying to cook a fish. I like to keep those fish fillets whole. Lots of recipes online for foil packet meals. Essentially, so you're going to take a couple sheets of that heavy duty foil, and some folks have you spray some PAM or nonstick coating on there. You can rub it with butter. Put your ingredients in the center. Depending on what you're making, maybe a spoonful or two of water to kind of keep things steaming and going on in there. And then you want to wrap it up tightly. And then I use a Sharpie because, again, I'm usually cooking for like a bunch of people, and write our names on there so you know whose is whose. And then you toss it into the fire just like this photograph here shows. You can also assemble these at home, which is really fun. Pre-assemble your foil packet and then put it in your cooler, and then use it within a day or two and plop it on the fire, and voila, there's your meal. Some tried and true ingredients that work really, really well would be ground beef or sausage. Some of these Beyond meats or Impossible vegetarian meats work fine too. Mix them up with some green beans, some onions. Pears are really fun in there. Throw a little fruit in there, gives it a little fun flavor. And then top it off with your hot sauce when you're finished. Here's another video quickly on kind of how the foil packet works in cooking. So I'll sit back and look at this one.
Today we're going to talk about every camper's best friend, foil. 4 foil packets for cooking food. If you're not making foil packets at the campsite, you're kind of missing out because it's a lot like the crock pot at home. You have a little bit of chopping, a little bit of prepping, throw it in the packet, throw it on the coals, go do something else, come back, boom. Super delicious meal. So we're going to get into tips for foil packets today. Foil, you're going to want to go heavy duty and double duty. You are going to want to make sure that you get a good heavy duty foil, and we absolutely recommend wrapping it not once, but twice, because it's going to be sitting in extremely hot coals. It's going to be sitting there for a long, long time, and it's going to have a better chance of cooking your food properly and not burning it. Another thing about foil, which side is the right side? If you use foil a lot, you are familiar with the fact that one side's a little bit dull or matte and one side is a little bit more shiny. Does it matter which side you use? No, it doesn't matter at all. The only thing that you do want to pay attention to is some foil is going to be non-stick, but you can generally tell that because the non-stick side is going to be a little bit dimpled. If it's not that, it doesn't matter at all. Cooking spray over butter is generally the way that we like to make foil packets. Butter is delicious, but it's a lot harder to get an even coating on all of the foil. Just one thing to keep in mind when you're using cooking spray, don't spray it on any open flames. It gets a little bit dangerous. When you seal your foil packet, you're going to want to make sure that you get out as much air as possible. If there's more air inside, that can expand and you'll get a little hole somewhere and it won't cook as properly. So less air, extremely tight seal. Turn often and carefully. When you put your foil packet in the coals, if you want to make sure that it doesn't get burnt anywhere, make sure you flip it over often. Be very gentle with that. If you get too aggressive with it, you could poke a hole in the foil and then all is lost. So hopefully that's helpful when mealtime arrives at the campsite and you're going to go ahead and do a foil packet for the crew. If there's anything that we missed and tips that you figured out that work really well, we'd love to hear about them.
Excellent.
Hey, we had somebody offer a really good tip, actually. Somebody suggested wrapping the food in cabbage leaves, and that prevents it from scorching.
That's a great idea.
I know, I love that. And one more housekeeping thing, sorry to interrupt. For those that have joined us late, in the chat box, there should be a sign-in link. Y'all use that to get a free Outdoor Chattanooga sticker and be in the running for that Lodge gift card that we're going to auction off at the end. For anyone that's having any connectivity issues, use the chat for that. Any of your questions, and there are some questions coming through the chat. If you guys will put those in the Q&A section, we're going to get to those probably here pretty soon. So use the Q&A for your presentation related questions. Thanks, Terry.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah, and back with that foil video, he was using fire gloves, heat resistant gloves. I love using those as well. Tongs work fine, but sometimes I rip into the foil on accident. I just love having those fireproof gloves, and I like to keep that in my kit. Anyway, all right, so my last favorite method of camp cooking is using these boil bags. They're essentially, it's using, you know, a reheatable, you're reheating something that you've already cooked, and they're kind of a no mess meal. It's interesting. I like using the Food Saver system or whatever brand that pulls the air out and it seals it for freezing for the future use. But I like to make my pre-made meals and put them in there and then take them to camp. I have not experimented a whole lot with cooking in a bag, like cooking a steak. I think they call that the sous vide method. A lot of chefs actually do that in restaurants. I have not experimented a whole lot of that with that, but I know that that is out there, and I think maybe I will try that here soon. But I do like the boil bag method. So a lot of the preparation is done at home. I like to make stews. I can make a rice dish, anything with noodles. You can even do pancakes. Put it in your food saver bag and then literally like reheat it at camp with that, and it stays good to go. So the best part is you are reheating the bag in boiling water at camp. The food in there gets warmed and hot. Take the bag out and serve right out of the bag. And then now you have a whole pot of boiling water that can be used for doing your dishes. It's really fun. So yeah, again, I just make ahead my favorite stews, noodles, casseroles, whatever. And then let it cool a little bit, put it in my food saver bag, and then I freeze it. Make sure you freeze them flat, label it, and then I'll pull it out of the freezer for take to camp. And then I let it pre-thaw a little bit and put it in boiling water and serve it right out of the bag. Another kind of quick, easy hack. Here is an item that Aldi's sells, and I think probably anywhere. They're basically, it's exactly what you're doing here at home. Pre-made food, it's factory food, put into a baggie, you buy right off the shelf, and the directions actually tell you just put it in hot boiling water and then serve. So that's exactly what we're doing here. But you get to make all your home favorite recipes using the food saver system. Some folks do have some concerns about reheating your meal in plastic. Totally get it. It's something that I'm not doing daily or often, so I don't worry too much. But as I understand it, that these food saver boil bags are made to be BPA free, the phthalate free, and they are capable to be put in boiling water. There is another option to do Ziploc baggy cooking. Now Ziploc bags are a lighter plastic, and sometimes their seams will bust out, and I'm not quite sure about those plastics being healthy, if you will. But again, if you're not doing this very often, it's kind of a fun little easy way to do some quick cooking at camp and a good little party trick. You shouldn't use single Ziploc bags when cooking because again, they can the seams can bust. So sometimes if you double it up, it'll work. We're gonna look at a quick video again on how to make an omelet using one of those backpacker ultralight one burner stoves. So this is a great example on how to just kind of quickly make a one pot meal.
And you guys enter in the chat whether you think they're going to be successful or not in making this omelet in the bag.
Yeah, and then I think, right after this, we're going to talk questions and answers. So, okay, here we go.
Tonight we're doing boil-in bag omelets. We've ignored all the warnings about these Ziploc bags and we're just going to go for it. Once they're cooked, we've got avocado and some fresh peppers and tomato. And we're going to eat them if, whatever, if you want. If you want. Do you want?
I want.
Steve's gonna want a tortilla. Anyways, boiling water. Good? Good stuff?
Set the timer. Set the timer.
And go! I think we're at 15 minutes, and I think we're gonna let it cook just a bit longer. It looks like it's not really done, so.
Make a nice little video of it.
Bacon's actually pretty good for me, I have to say.
Do you want to divvy yours out, or?
Sure.
Looks good.
It does.
It's a little runny in the center still.
Oh yeah, is there like...
Just a bit here. Just a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit runny just because there's nowhere for the moisture to escape to.
But I doubt it's undercooked. Huh?
No, it's not
It
undercooked.
doesn't look undercooked.
It's all,
What's that? You're putting on ketchup?
Yep, ketchup.
That looks good. Got some avocado on there.
Yep, avocado and some onion. No, some pepper rather, and some tomato. Oh, I forgot this.
What do you think, Alex? For next time, you gonna have one?
Oh, yeah.
Boiling bag.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah, sorry about the light there.
Sorry.
You got some. What do you got going on here?
I'm cooking up a few delicious veggie doggies.
Veggie dogs.
3.
Nice.
That should be a good fill. Thinking.
Tonight we're doing boil-in bag.
All right.
So most everyone voted and rooted yes for them. Some have actually tried it and have been successful. And yeah, and I would think somebody asked about the vegan just egg option, which I am vegan and I use that a lot. I would think it would cook just the same as a normal egg. So yeah. And I think the consensus is anything cooked outside always tastes better. So it's high quality camp food.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, but I do encourage you to try this food saver system style. I am just in awe with it. I've done a lot of multi-day river trips, and I mean it is just fabulous for that. We pack, kind of layers of frozen meals in our cooler, and you literally, after the end of a day of activity, you're tired. The last thing you want to do is start chopping and cooking and sauteing and doing all the things. You just drop this into hot water, dish it out, fill your belly. You have very little trash, and now you have the hot water ready to kind of do your dishes. It's fabulous. All right. So kind of real quick on, food and stove safety. It's kind of hopefully self-explanatory here, but first and foremost, wash your hands. This is probably the most dangerous thing out there in the woods. Your hands are vectors for lots of germs, and you can easily spread that into your food. So keep them clean. Make sure that you're always cooking your foods to the required temperatures. If you're bringing chicken or other meats out there, make sure you're cooking those properly. They may look done, it's dark outside, blah, blah, blah. You can get pretty sick pretty quickly. Let's also consider not keeping food out on the picnic table for too long, especially in warm weather. They say about an hour, and get that potato salad back in that cooler. It's also nice to have shovel, rake, bucket, anything just in case your fire gets out of hand. And again, with backpacking stoves, especially that with the liquid fuel, sometimes those things can leak, and it's nice to have a way to snuff out the fire, keep a kettle nearby. And clear your area where you're cooking, and especially watch for loose clothing. No capes. Okay, no scarves, no capes, nothing. And these are just some basics on food safety. All right, here we go. I want to hear your questions. What do we have? Throw them at me, Sunshine.
All right, you ready for some audience questions? We've had a few come through, 6 of them so far. I'm just going to read them in order. Maya Bradshaw, my question is, what are your go-to favorite meals to cook? She says that I generally use a backpacking stove, jet boil, as I hike and backpack often. But I'm currently working on taking my recipes and finding new recipes to add to a curated collection. Then I can go to that collection whenever I need to make a meal for any adventure. So what are your favorite meals and go-to recipes, Carrie?
Oh, it's for the one pot meal idea.
She's saying that she typically depends upon a backpacking stove, a jet boil
Backpacking
mini.
stove.
Yeah.
I think you can put together burritos pretty easily. Like there's a lot of freshies, but you can do your rice and beans together in one pot. Chili, jambalaya is pretty fun. Again, yeah, well, then I kind of lean more on the food saver type thing where I can get more elaborate and have, a beef stroganoff kind of pre-made, and then just heat it up in my boiling water in my one pot. Yeah, hopefully that answered some questions there.
Yeah, and I think to keep in mind, anything you can kind of make at home, you can transfer that to the outdoors. A lot of it's just doing the prep up front before you get outside. David Reed asks, how about fire discs or similar device that you find at Mexican markets? I'm not sure what he's referring to. Do you, what a fire disc is?
Nope, but I will be looking that up. I am sorry, I'm not aware of what a fire disc is.
So David, follow up with another question. Give us a little insight, a little context to your question, and maybe we can help answer it. Diane asks, are there special food saver bags for using in boiling water, or can you just use the ones that you get for the freezer?
I just use the general food saver bags. And I think they do sell some that are called boil safe or whatever, and they'll say that on the packaging. I prefer not to use the pleated kind. Those are harder to seal up, but yeah, they're fantastic.
Awesome. And then Jamie wants to know if a food saver is easy to use. I've not personally used one, so.
It is. I think I picked mine up from one of those discount thrift stores somewhere, and it's an off-brand. It works totally fine. Yeah, it's very easy to use. A lot of the plastic comes in a roll. You just cut off the size you're looking for, put it in the machine, seals off one end. You open it up, put your stuff in, put it in the machine, seals it off, sucks all the air out. Voila. Very easy to use.
Awesome. Stephanie wants to know, with a backpacking stove using the butane, how long does the butane last? Is it 1 boil? Is it 5 boils?
That's a good question. I guess a lot of that does depend on your ambient temperature. So if you're in really cold weather, it's going to take a little bit longer for your stove to operate to actually boil. But I think they last at least 5 days, doing maybe 2 meals a day. It could be a little bit off, but those canisters last a good long while.
Yeah, and it very much depends. I've had some last a really long time in certain conditions, and I feel like I ran through it real quick in another. So I don't think there's a standard because everyone uses it differently. Kayla wants to know, when meal planning, what's your approach? Do you try to use recipes that use the same ingredients to limit what you pack in and out? And then what meal planning recommendations can you give?
That is what our next conversation is about to be about. And so, yeah.
You want to go? Let's go into that then, Terry.
I might be able to get right on into that. Okay. All right. So, real quick though, camp cooking, pretty easy. What I like to do is put together my ready to go camp kitchen box. Then I can just grab it and get in the car and grab the groceries and go, or hopefully do a little more meal planning than that. And then kind of pick out what I'm going to cook and do a little repackaging and practice. All right, so let's make this camp kitchen box. I use a box that's pretty heavy duty, more sturdy than a Tupperware, and it has lockdown handles on the side. I keep my stove and the fuel separate just because, again, I don't know if I'm going to be using Dutch oven or my 2-burner stove or whatever, but all inside of that box are my dishes. Here we go. So open the box, and this is kind of what it looks like. We'll take out our items here. I have a huge stock pot. This boils water. I can put my food saver bags in there. It's more than enough for 2 people, but again, I'm kind of with the perspective of working to feed at least 4 to 6 people at a time. Hanging off of my stock pot is a measuring cup that has a little handle, and I use that as a dip cup. Say I boil a bunch of water, make it really hot. Instead of trying to pour that heavy pot of water into each person's hot chocolate mug, we use the dip cup to pour individual waters. Very helpful. I like a 6-quart saucepan just for, just general use over the burners. I also carry a little saute pan. And then down here in the right corner is the lid that actually will fit all of my cooking pieces. Then I use reusable plates and bowls. I just, the amount of people I'm feeding and the amount of meals, I just hate throwing away a bazillion throwaway plates. It's just as easy to just do dishes out there. And we're going to cover that here in a little bit. I love the new things you can find at the dollar store. This is like a mixing bowl that pops up and you can squish it back down for storage. Fantastic. They also have these as strainers. I use little Tupperware boxes to keep my silverware. And in there you can see it's just like forks, spoons, knives, a sharp knife, just kind of quick grab and go. And then a separate one for all the other cooking pieces, your slotted spoon, my can opener. It looks like I have a vegetable peeler in there, some tongs, another sharp knife, my Sharpie for writing on whatever I need to do, and a couple other things. This is kind of a twofold. For the most part, I've been using it to strain out tiny little crumbs from when I do my dishes so that I'm not littering the campground or the area with food waste. That's an old coffee strainer. I do my coffee a little different, but that's what that is for. It's just a strainer. And then I have one of those pop-up buckets again for doing my dishes. I like to use the biodegradable soap, and I like to have a fresh sponge for each camping trip. And there's the piece again. Those lockdown handles are very helpful, especially when you're in critter country for little critters. All right, any questions real quick on the camp box?
Let me see if they had any come through specific to the camp box. We had a few left over from the last
from the last one. I am going to talk about menu building considerations and kind of how I come about what I'm going to cook here in a minute.
Okay.
I'll keep going. Okay.
Yeah, keep going and we'll save them up.
All right. But we do have a survey.
But first, let's do the survey. All right. We are on poll number 2, the meal plan, right, Terry?
I think so.
All right, it is up. You guys, if you're still awake and you're still with us, we're asking you a question. What food comes to mind when you're planning your own dinner for your own camping trip? And that's kind of come through in the chat a little bit. Most people do tend to rely on those hot dogs because of their simplicity. But let's see how everyone votes. We got about 71. I love it. You guys are still with us. Thank you so much. All right, about 80%. I'm gonna give y'all 10 more seconds. And then the other, if you guys voted other, share what your other is. Here are the results for everyone to see. Hamburgers and hot dogs take for the win.
Excellent. Yes. And nothing is wrong with that. I really appreciate that. But yeah, there are just many other options out there. And as you can see with the foil pouch, the food saver system, or the Dutch oven, you can get pretty creative with what to cook outside. All right, you guys hungry yet? All right, let's plan these menus. Okay, things you need to think about. Who is camping? What type of camping trip are you doing? Let's talk weather, preparation, snacks, cleanup. All right, so what are you doing while you're camping? Here's a photograph of a multi-day river trip. So our days are filled with swimming, exercise, activity, and then we've got to unpack the raft, set up camp. I mean, there's like 1,000 things to do. So simplified meals and lots of kids to feed is something that I would be considering when I'm planning my menu on this trip. Sometimes you're camping just to camp and relax. So that's where cooking can actually be a wonderful activity. And it really is a wonderful activity. It brings a group together, gets people working together, and especially with kids, they're learning these life skills that translate back to home, how to be clean, how to be safe, chopping and putting things together, and then having this wonderful creation that they've done themselves, and it keeps them out of trouble. Again, who is camping? If you're camping with these little ones, again, you're probably going to have your hands full. It makes it really difficult to be safe around that campfire. You want very simplified meals. Got to think about weather. If it's going to be hot, I would choose meals that would be very refreshing, like a sandwich or pasta salad. Or a quick one-pot meal, something very fast. But in hot weather, refrigeration can also be an issue. How to keep your items cool enough for enough days. So consider that. Yellow cheeses, those hard cheddars, they don't necessarily need to be refrigerated. You've got summer sausages, some of your fresh cucumbers and things like that can hang out for a while, no problem without super duper refrigeration. Cut veggies and dips, you've got tuna pouches that you can use and over crackers with some relish, pretty easy. Now, if the evenings get chilly, that's where you're going to welcome your hot meals and utilizing coals and Dutch ovens. But you may want to consider some of your frozen items may not thaw as quickly or as you need them to. And also while you're camping, if you're out there for a few days, think about, rainy weather. Like it may be difficult to cook over a fire in extreme weather. So you might want to have a way to cook kind of an emergency meal. Maybe that is your space dehydrated meal or something like that, or quick mac and cheese. It's easy to carry. And I usually carry an extra mac and cheese in case I totally botch up an entire meal and we at least have something. Oops. I am pushing the wrong button. There we go. All right. But the biggest thing is to plan ahead. Plan these meals ahead. How, you know, what are you going to be doing while you're camping? Who is going? Plan ahead. What am I going to cook? And do as much preparation at home as possible. This is one of my favorite pictures of using cooking as an activity. And then on the right-hand side, just kind of an example of just trying to feed people quickly. Don't forget to pack the snacks, because you don't want your group or even yourself to become hangry. In case you don't know what hangry is, I've added this in. I think we've all probably experienced that. Nuts, berries.
Yes, we've all been hangry at some point.
We've all been hangry some. And then, you know, again, thinking forward from home, kind of pre-packaging some of these things for quick grab and go in your little Ziploc baggies is very, very, very helpful. All right, how to do some cleanup. Whew, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're doing a lot of cooking, a lot of dishes, a lot of people. It's really not that daunting. I like the 3-bucket system here. One is, hot water for washing. One is hot water for rinsing. And then oftentimes that 3rd bucket is used with a little drop of bleach for disinfecting. They're really easy to do and store. Here's a video quickly on how to wash dishes. I know we're getting close on time. I don't think it's very long.
Hi, I'm Danielle with the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics. Dirty dishwater and soaps can pollute our rivers, streams, and lakes, which is why it's so important to make sure we're doing our dishes away from water sources. If you're in an area with dishwashing facilities, use them. If not, here's an easy way to clean up and leave no trace. You'll need 4 dishwashing buckets, a sponge, a scraper, soap, a strainer, bleach, your garbage can, and a towel or drying rack. The first bucket is a cold rinse. This is commonly called your funk bucket because it'll have the most food scraps in it. Scrape your dishes before rinsing to cut down on food scraps. Your second bucket will be a hot wash using minimal soap. This bucket should be half cold water, half boiling water. This third bucket is a hot rinse, so add half boiling water and half cold water to rinse your dishes free of soap. Your fourth bucket will be a cold bleach. Use minimal bleach, only 6 to 7 drops per gallon. This helps sanitize our dishes when we use water from a questionable source. Dry your dishes with a towel or hang them on a drying rack. When you're done with your dishes, make sure you dispose of waste properly by going 200 feet or 70 big steps away from any water source. When disposing of dishwater, use a strainer. This helps get rid of those food scraps and make sure we don't attract animals to the area. The 4-bucket wash system is a great way to do your dishes when you're in an area where there's no dishwashing facilities. If you're backpacking though, check out our next video, the 1-bucket dish system.
Excellent. Okay, and then, just packing a cooler. I know we're running close on time, but here's a quick hack, freeze a bunch of water bottles ahead of time, and then use that instead of loose ice so that your food is not floating around in melted ice. Another great tip is bring your cooler inside before you pack it, so it brings down the temperature of that plastic. I have taken my cheap cooler and updated it with a bunch of insulation that I got at Lowe's or Home Depot, and then just taped it in there. It really really has helped keep the items in their cooler longer. And then you can kind of put like a foam pad on top. And as you kind of eat through your food, that pad lowers down and reduces the amount of airspace that has to stay cooled. It works very, very well. And real quick, critter considerations at camp. Here in the East, yeah, we mostly have raccoons that are the biggest problem. Yes, there are black bears around, but for the most part, I mean, just keep your camp super duper clean. Don't even leave a crumb for even a mouse. Wash those dishes immediately. Don't ever leave any food in your tent. And in bear country, and even sometimes putting it in your car can be a problem. And you need to use bear canisters and the bear lockers. That's a whole nother workshop we can get into later. And worse, you know, you can always hang your food too. Again, a whole nother workshop. But keeping your campsite clean of crumbs, trash, keep it very cleaned up. I sometimes do leave that kitchen box outside of my camper, and yes, I hear the raccoons all night trying to get into that. But I've locked it down, taped it down, bungeed it down, so that they can't be rewarded. And I definitely bring my food items away. Okay, so anyway, in that video, we learned quickly about disposing of our food waste properly. This is just so important. Please, please, please. I'm not sure if you've ever seen banana peels or orange peels out on the trail. Who knows how long they've been there. Sometimes in some environments, it takes up to 6 months for them to even rot. It is no fun to see other people's trash out there. And in campgrounds and such, you know, we have lots of food scraps and crumbs. If these are all over the ground, you're going to invite small critters, which are going to invite bigger critters and bigger problems. And anyway, very, very easy to kind of be the authority of the resource and kind of follow leave no trace principles and maybe teach others how to as well. We don't need to do that poll.
Oh, we should totally do that poll. It's very important.
At the very end?
I want to make sure people are still paying attention.
Paying attention? Okay.
No, I think actually this is a really important topic. It comes up a lot. Like, why can't I just throw my food scraps out? Like, it's biodegradable. It goes back into the soil. It goes back into the earth. But we don't think about how long it actually takes for that to happen. And when you're introducing a foreign substance into an environment, those wildlife aren't used to having that, and it can cause issues. So the question on the board is, how long does it take for an orange peel to decompose if thrown on the ground? Looks like we've got 75% in. We'll make this a short one and show the results. Terry, what is the actual answer?
The actual answer is up to 6 months, not weeks, months.
Oh, so I typed the thing in wrong. Sorry. I gave the wrong, I didn't even give the right answer.
Well,
for all of
the answer varies. The answer
Yeah.
definitely varies. And we have people from all over the country. You know, here in the East, we've got lots of rain, humidity. Things will decompose a little bit faster, you know, with that rich soil and whatnot. But say you get out to the desert, you know, out west, and maybe even up in the colder climates, Canada and stuff, things are going to take even longer to decompose. So yeah, it kind of just depends. But yeah, it takes way longer than you think. And yeah, and these are not part of our animals' normal diets, and it can cause issues. And I don't want to see it either. Anyway.
Yeah. So Terry, people loved your cooler foam idea. So if they didn't learn anything else, they learned that. So that was a great tip. Do you have any more of your presentation, or should we get to picking a winner of the giveaway and getting on to the Q&As? I know we're at that 8 o'clock hour right now.
I am at the end, and somehow
it says the end.
And I'm happy to answer a lot more questions if you have them.
Yeah, I just see some people kind of, rolling out, which is totally fine. We appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. We do have a couple more workshops coming up. One dedicated to backpacking. So if you are more of in learning that information, that will be coming up March 23rd. Some bike maintenance, and those are our last two, isn't it? Yeah, we're almost done with our series. It's gone by really fast. So if you guys are interested in those topics, please join us for those. Terry, I'm going to share my screen, and if you'll take yours down. All right. All right, we got this cool thing called Wheel of Names, and I have put everybody's name into this. There are so many names in here. It's going to be really hard to land on one, but this is how we are going to pick our winner tonight. So let's see who the lucky one is. It's a Cole Yuckness. I hope I said that right. Cole, we're going to email you instructions on how you're going to get that, okay? Let me stop sharing. You guys can just look at me and Terry for a little bit. All right, Q&A. For those of you that need to leave, please do. Otherwise, we are now going to get to your questions until we run out of questions. So, and Terry, we have a lot, so I hope you're ready.
Okay, go for it.
Go for it. Can you use a jet boil for the plastic bag meals? Somebody wants to know how versatile the jet boil is, and can you cook directly with it?
I have not done that myself, but I'm going to guess it's going to be more difficult because of the size of those food saver bags. And your
Yes.
jet boil, is probably going to be about this big, and your food saver bags are just larger.
Yeah, jet boil is
Ziploc.
definitely, because we use one, me and my wife do, and it is more for the one person, two person concept, just boiling water concept, not for really cooking with. It can work for a boiled bag, but again, probably only for a single person, not for feeding a group. So Jennifer, I hope that answers your question. When doing a meal with noodles, do you pre-cook them?
When
you do
yes.
a meal with noodles out,
I will pre-cook those noodles and put them in my food saver bag. I think that's what you're asking. Yes, I can do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think either, and again, anything that saves you time out in the woods, best to do up front. Kathy says, we once went on a sailing trip for a couple weeks. 3 couples shared making the seal a meal food savers. We got the best recipes of each household. Delicious. So I think that's just a tip. Terry wants in on your next trip, Kathy.
Yeah. Can I go on your trip? And can you share some recipes?
Yeah. So maybe that's what we'll turn this into. You guys are all going to get a follow-up email with the presentation slides, a pre-recorded video in case you missed anything or had technical issues. The recipe for Terry's delicious chicken pot pie made 3 different ways. And I would love to get responses from our participants, or you're going to get a survey. You could enter your recipes in there, but respond with your favorite recipes. Maybe we'll compile them and resend those back out to everybody that participated. That might be fun. All right. Are there any recipes that you found you can't successfully execute when camping?
Oh,
that's a good question. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. I'm sure there's some, but you just kind of roll with it and kind of adapt like you would with any recipe. Who really follows the recipe to a T anyway?
Right.
Yeah. And you just act like that's how it was supposed to be. And food does taste better outside. I guess I do pick pretty simple, hearty, comfort type foods for the most part in the first place when I'm eating outdoors versus something elaborate like potatoes fondant or something. Yeah, I'm not going to probably do that, but.
I know we got a lot of great comments in the chat of what the other, if they selected other in the survey, and a lot of people, fish, steak, people are cooking all kinds of things. So I just think it's what you're used to normally eating at home. what your favorite ingredients are, and just figuring out a way to take those outside with you, not into the outdoors. All right, Kathy J wants to know, what is your favorite over the open fire meal?
Well, over the open fire, like in a foil packet, the little hobo one, that's just like throwing a bunch of garden vegetables in. I like that. I've seen people with the, oh goodness, it's like what do you call it? The clamshell.
Like the little panini maker, yeah.
Panini maker you can do that straight over the coals with sandwiches. You can make pies. But my personal favorite is using the Dutch oven and just about anything in it. I like the Dutch oven lasagnas. They're very easy. I like to make the desserts in the Dutch oven.
Yeah.
The clamshell thing.
The clamshell thing.
Grilled cheese in the clamshell thing.
Yeah.
What's that called?
And everything got a smoky flavor over a fire, so it just adds a new element to it. We attempted nachos one time and bought the wrong spices. Instead of Southwest spice, we bought Ethiopian spices, and we had Ethiopian campfire nachos. It's the strangest meal I've probably ever eaten. Lori would like to know, what is your opinion of MREs?
I think that they can be useful in an emergency as they were intended. You also have the freeze-dried space foods like Mountain House is one brand. There's a whole bunch of them out there. I think they're great. They taste pretty decent. However, that is a factory food, and I like to eat a little fresher and a little better. But I have relied on those for super duper lightweight multi-day camp trips. But there's also a way to put those together yourself. There's lots of recipes online on the interwebs on how to put together dried food, just add water meals. And I went on a 3-week Boundary Waters trip where that's how we ate. But we made it all ourselves. It's a lot less expensive and a little bit healthier, and you know exactly what's going into your body versus the factory food. But yeah, there's some good ones out there. Pie iron. Yeah, there we go. Clamshell thingy is a pie iron.
It came back around to her, guys. It came back around.
Yes,
all
thank
right. Kathy's asking another question. Don't you fry your fresh caught fish? Don't you fry your fresh caught fish?
Sure, you can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can bring a cast iron fry pan and do it straight on the grate on your campfire ring, or straight into the coals. And, you just need to bring the oil, and you can,
Yeah, I think you can. And then she wants to know, do you have a favorite recipe for trout?
Pardon, there's a dog. I do not have a favorite recipe for trout. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's all about the breading and the seasoning and.
Yeah, Kathy, you must be a fisher person.
Okay.
All right, just a couple more. Krista would like to know, which method is the quickest? I assume that's over the ones that you covered. Camp stove, coal, or campfire. She would like to know which one is the quickest. Terry's got a dog in the background. Cody's got something to say.
Which one is the quickest?
Cooking method is the quickest.
I would say just the boil bag. Yeah.
Yeah, boil in the bag would be the quickest, Krista. Cleaning dishes in a campground is something I'm not sure about. How do you dispose of wastewater with soap and food scraps? Hopefully, Wendy, you asked that question prior to actually seeing the video that Terry shared, and that should have answered all of your questions about what to do. And then that little strainer that she had was another way to catch those food scraps and get rid of them. So I'll answer that one for you, Terry, in case Kona's still barking there. And then you can do anything in a skillet or a griddle. David, I don't know if that was a question or if you were just saying that you know how to cook anything and everything in a skillet or a griddle. Diane has a good question. How do you make your camping coffee? Terry, you and I, this is very important to both of us. Coffee in the morning is like number one thing to do. How do you make your coffee?
Aha, I've done it many different ways. The easiest way is the little Starbucks Via. You just pour it into the hot water. Okay, that's cheating. I will put coffee grounds into a filter and twist tie it and then just boil it. I like the French press. I'll carry that. They make them as your drinking mug with like a little French press on top. That's actually the easiest, and you just use coffee grounds. But you know, again, for like larger groups, I will put that the coffee into the boil bags, basically.
Yep, we like to use the pour over method or French press ourselves out there because it is that important. It's worth carrying that stuff with you. All right, Lynn would like to know, those of you that are hanging out with us, we appreciate it. We're going to keep answering these until we're done. What is the difference between using coals versus just firewood, specifically about the temperature? Is there a difference between the coals and firewood?
Not really, but I guess with coals, you can come down to more of the science and know exactly what temperature you're cooking at by the number of briquettes. But you know, using camp wood or wood coals, you've just gotta kind of keep them stoked, if you will, and kind of keep pulling nice hot coals out, because those, when you break them apart and they're little embers, they can die out pretty quickly and you can lose your heat. But like, you know, cooking in the little camp foils, you just keep turning and just make sure, and you can tell how hot it is when you hold your hand over the coals. A few seconds, you know, it's, and you got to pull your hand away, you know, it's hot enough to keep cooking.
Yeah. Do you know if you can cook pasta in a plastic bag? I haven't tried that. I don't know if that would work.
I haven't tried that either, and I'm gonna, like, in a Ziploc, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, because you have to have water, and then in a boiling, you might as well just cook it in the boiling water.
I mean, reheat cooked pasta, yes.
Yeah. Looks like Terry's kids are back at home. Real quick, Terry, and then I can probably answer the rest. Where did you get your cooler foam? People are really curious about that cooler tip that you had, so the foam you had on top. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, that's just a cooler. I probably picked it up from a thrift store because, yeah, that's what I do. But anyway, then I bought stuff from Lowe's or Home Depot that's it's insulation, and it's just kind of foil on both sides. And then I literally used Gorilla Tape and taped that into the cooler. And then I just got a basically like a thicker yoga mat, and then cut the top of that to fit the top of the cooler. And then I used lots of Tupperware to put my items in the cooler, and those items can kind of go up and down, and you know, I can get my freshies out of this piece. I just don't want anything floating in melted ice. I have also seen where people have drilled holes in their Coleman coolers or whatever, and then put spray foam insulation inside, because a lot of those coolers are hollow. I've never really wanted to drill into my cooler, but another good trick with that is to put a wet towel over your cooler when it's all packed down, and that wet towel also helps keep it insulated, keep your cooler in the shade.
Yeah.
It just really kind of helped take a cheap cooler and give it some more insulation.
Yeah. These questions are definitely for you. What is your favorite dessert for the Dutch oven?
Blackberry cobbler.
Blackberry cobbler. I like it. When re-seasoning cast iron, do you have an oil preference?
I don't.
They said seems like things tend to get sticky even at a very light coat.
Yeah, they do. Let's see, I've used, I guess, is it grapeseed oil? I think was what I've used. A high temperature oil. And yeah, they're going to get sticky and kind of rancid sometimes if you're not using your cast iron very often, or if you put on too thick of a coat. And you want to kind of put that on while it's hot and kind of let it soak in.
Yeah, and I do know that Lodge has some great tutorials, some great videos on how to take care of. So check out their website for that specific question, because they probably give recommendations on best oil and how to care for those things. Do you freeze the food in the plastic bags and then take them and boil them in the water?
Yes. Okay. I will freeze as much as I can. And maybe, and then just thaw it out as I need them, for the, pull it out of the cooler that morning for that evening's meal. You just got to think a meal ahead. Yep. And then when it's mostly thawed, put it into the hot water. I don't put it completely frozen in the hot water. No, let it thaw a little.
Yeah. All right, 2 more from Eric, and then I'll finish with my wife's question. Do you need to use a particular type of bag, or regular freezer vacuum bags are okay to cook in?
I use, like, for the Ziploc plan, freezer bag. It's a thicker plastic and a little sturdier. For that food saver system, I just use the general food saver bag. I think they may have a boil specific one out there. But no, I have great success with the regular ones.
Yeah, and thicker is better, Eric, to answer your question, if you're still on here. But and then he would like to know if you would recommend having a thermometer for safe cooking temps while outside.
Yeah, I would actually. That might actually be, I don't cook that much meat, and usually when I bring it, I have pre-cooked it at home. But that might be a good item to add to my kitchen box.
Yeah. David did recircle with that the fire disc. He says it's kind of similar to a wok. The Mexican style is better. It's either inverted in the middle. The stand breaks down for camping. It uses the same canister as the camp stoves. It's great for big crowds, tacos, fajitas, etc.
I will be looking that up.
Yeah, I'm going to Google that too, David. So thanks for that suggestion. All right, we'll see if this one stumps you. Michelle would like to know, what is your best popcorn camping recipe?
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Pull it out. That's a good one. Goodness. Well, I guess I have done lots of popcorn on my stove. So I guess what's the difference? I can do this at the campground. Yeah, you just put a little bit of oil in the bottom of your 6-quart saucepan, put your kernels in, pop it up. And then I love the, what is that? Nutritional yeast. Y'all ever use that? It's,
yes,
it tastes
nutritional
like
yeast.
Yeah, and it gives you your B vitamins, and it tastes like cheese. And then I like just salt, pepper, and some smoked paprika, maybe.
All right, I'll share that with her. I couldn't figure out how to get it off my headphones and let her listen, so I'll share that with her.
There you go. That's my favorite.
Carrie, you did awesome tonight. No one really stumped you with the questions. You answered all of them. We've made it through. We had almost 50 people left with us. Thank you guys for staying 25 minutes past the hour. We hope you learned something tonight. We're going to send out an email with all the information, including a survey. Let us know how we did. What else you'd like to see us offer? Maybe what we could do better. We would love to hear from you guys and get feedback. If I've missed anything in the chat, I'm going to take some time to look through that. Go find us on Facebook. Go find us on YouTube. Go visit our website. Get inspired to get outside and play. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Terry, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with everyone. We hope to see you guys out there camping and cooking and camping.
Yeah, right on.
All right, bye everybody.
Share some of your recipes, and and I see you out there, we can trade up some desserts here.
That's right. We'll swap recipes. Y'all share them with us. All right, y'all have a good night. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.